Charlie finally did that on time.
I
This one is the Endgame podcast. We would have done this a while ago, but Charlie.
I cause tornadoes
took
whenever
forever.
I leave. That's what it is. Anytime I leave my house, there's the possibility that a tornado is gonna touch down. So it's a rough life for me.
Yeah, whatever. Okay.
That's probably
Anyways,
why
so you just saw the movie, man. Tell us how it was. How'd you feel about it?
let me say, I did enjoy the movie. Okay, I liked it, but I think Infinity War was better.
Facts. That's exactly how I felt.
It's 100% a better movie, but I did enjoy how it was a good way to close a chapter. You know, it wasn't terrible. I enjoyed the entire movie. It kind of sucked because I already knew characters were gonna die. I knew what characters were gonna die. Although some things were still kind of surprising, how they closed those
chapters for certain characters.
Yeah, like with I kind of didn't like how they just kind of were like 5 years later, and then the Hulk and Banner are just like one person. You know what I mean? They didn't do anything. There's a few.
They didn't do a build up for it. That's what you're saying.
I have a few problems with how. I'm gonna talk about the few problems that I had with the movie, but first let me tell you all the things that I did like about the movie. Okay. I loved Fat Thor. That was probably my favorite thing in the entire movie was Fat Thor. I don't know why, but it was such a hilarious thing, and he did it so well. Like, he just has this beer gut, and, like, it was so fucking great to see that instead of him having, like, a six-pack. And I thought that, like, whenever they were going to do that that they did that final battle scene, he was going to, like, call down his shit and he was going to lose the gut. But they were like, nah, we're going to just keep him in the gut and the fucking costume. So, I love that.
He looked like an old, like, Viking raider.
Mm-hmm. He looked like
Honor, bro.
He looked like one of those dudes he looked like somebody from Game of Thrones.
A wildling?
Yeah.
That's what he looked like.
Yeah, he looked like a fat wildling. It was awesome. But just like a badass, too. The Thor and Captain America teaming up with the hammers, loved that. Everything about Captain America wielding Mjolnir was awesome. Captain America, probably most believable time I've ever believed Chris Evans was actually Captain America. There were a lot of the ending scenes I liked. Pretty much the entire climax battle was pretty awesome. I loved Thanos' weapon. Whatever the fuck that was awesome.
Dude, that was great, bro. It was like a double-sided blade.
Yeah, but it was reversed. Like, both sides weren't facing the same way, you know what I mean?
He was on some Darth Maul shit, bro.
Yeah,
except like times 10.
Yeah, times 10. I would agree. Thanos, he did even, like, I believed him even more as a villain, and I loved I loved everything about him, honestly. There wasn't anything I disliked about Thanos.
Yeah, I was gonna say Thanos was he's probably the most consistent thing in the movie, or in the show, like, altogether. Like, the past two movies. Because, like, he picked up on that shit so fast. I do wish they would have, like, led to more of an element of surprise.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't care for that. I would have liked it. I understand why they did that, because they had to. Like, there was no other way.
Well, I mean, like, just perfect example. Like, whenever they did the snap, how cool would it have been had Nebula not summoned them there already, right? And then they did a snap, everything goes good, and then they get blasted. Like, what the fuck is going on? And then Thanos comes out. That would have been a cooler surprise versus we knew what the hell was going to happen. You know what I mean?
I mean, they had to set up for the ending for the villain, because otherwise, I mean...
No, I'm not saying they couldn't. I'm saying, like, they just didn't have to show her bringing them there.
Right.
They should have like made that a surprise. We knew it was going to happen regardless, because in the last fight. But they should have just had them show up randomly, blast everybody. Everybody's confused as fuck. Like, yo, did the snap do this? Like, what happened? What's going on? And then Thanos is just like, yo, I fucked y'all niggas up. Like, what's good? Like, I'm about to come and take my gauntlet back, and we're about to do this again. Except it's going to be times 10.
I did not. I actually liked the way that they did pretty much everything in the movie. There were okay now, the movie itself as a whole I enjoyed, but there were like parts of the movie that I didn't like, and my biggest complaint so far is the scene at the end where Captain Marvel has the fucking gauntlet and she's trying to get to the thing, and then out of nowhere, all the girls show up. They just showed up
bro.
out of nowhere, and they were all just ready to go. And I was
she
like,
has me.
I was
she
so.
Has us.
I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like all the dudes were busy. Is that what you're trying to say?
And then like the homie was like, I was just thinking about what else was going on on the battlefield. Like, what the fuck happened? Did they just leave their fights? And then
Pepper's Iron Man suit was dope as fuck. I really liked Pepper's suit. So,
Gwyneth Paltrow? Yeah, bro, she killed that shit.
Her suit was amazing. Overall.
Hold on. Let's go back to that moment of extreme feminism. I don't know what's wrong with my cat.
Dude, I don't. She was my least favorite.
That feminist movement, like I don't have a problem. Like I knew it was gonna happen. It was so fucking corny the way they did it.
No,
but let's just go back to that.
It was.
Why did they need to protect Captain Marvel if she's the strongest person in the MCU?
Exactly. That was another thing. It's
like, that's what I didn't understand, bro.
They did nothing.
She didn't even do work against Thanos, bro.
No,
like I was pissed.
She did not. She didn't. She was all this hype and no like. Maybe I need to see Captain Marvel. Like I don't.
No, you don't, bro. You don't, because Captain Marvel was only in the movie for 2 minutes. You don't need to see anything.
That's the thing, is that she wasn't even utilized in the movie until the end of the movie. So there was no point, like, for somebody who has not seen Captain Marvel, this was just some random bitch that just showed up, and like she had long hair in the beginning and then she cut her hair. And that was the only character development that she had. Throughout the, I knew nothing else about it.
That's so true. Like I was so confused. I was like, what is the point of this character right now? What is the point? Look, I liked, because I actually, you know, I'm kind of a nerd. I like Captain Marvel in the comic books. I was kind of geeked to see what she was going to be put to use for. This is such a waste of time, bro. And like she was not even relevant against Thanos, really. Not
really. The ending. She was there for the ending when everybody else was there.
Was doing way more work with Mjolnir than
just a regular dude.
Captain Marvel.
I loved Tony's death scene. It was really good. Everybody that was involved in it did like a really good job. The fact that they didn't give him any lines was my favorite thing about the whole deal.
Yeah.
I love that they just like let him die, and that's great.
Bro, that part when Pepper said you can rest now, that fucked me up.
Oh yeah, they had so many like little throwbacks to previous Marvel movies that's why I think that it was such a good closing. It's definitely, you can tell that it was the end of a really long story. You know what I mean? And it had all these like little like when Cap calls Spider-Man Queens.
Yep.
And then the shield breaking is part of the vision that Tony had.
Mm-hmm. Whenever it was in Age of Ultron. Yeah.
Yep.
They closed a lot. They literally closed almost all the plot lines.
Exactly.
Which was really good. The Russos did their thing on that. I 100% agree that Infinity War is 100% better than this.
It's a better movie because it ends on the climax of the movie.
Yeah. Well, it was also because Infinity War to me was like, yeah, it was Infinity War, but to me that was Thanos. It was like Marvel presents Thanos. That's what that was. It was a completely different movie, and we actually got to see things. Like whenever it said 5 years later, I was so confused. I was like, that's it? That's it? That's literally it. There's nothing else.
I like the fact that they had to, that they did that. That they're like,
no, I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'm saying like I was just shook. Like I was like, bro, like they really just skipped forward 5 years, and now you have to see how fucked everyone is.
Yep. Yep. You're saying? I think that the fact that they I just lost my train of thought right there. I really liked the movie. I did. But the reason that Endgame was better was because, or Infinity War was better, was because they failed.
Yeah.
And that's, there you're like, oh shit, so what are they going to do? And the fact that they didn't just mulligan it like they could have, so they're like, nah, we can, we're gonna. They did, but in a different way than what they normally do. Like, instead of them having to go back in time and stop Thanos, they just take the stones from throughout different periods of time when they're the most vulnerable, and then use that to try to, you know, fix it.
That was really cool. That was really cool. I'll give you that one. That is really cool. Because, I think everyone anticipated it to be a time travel movie. And everyone anticipated it to just be, go back and stop Thanos before this happens.
Exactly. That's what I thought.
So, them, like, actually doing, like, having to figure out the different timelines and everything, where the stones were, and then take them back to the future, and then thus creating, like, a time paradox. And basically opening up the MCU for a multiverse because of all the conflicting timelines.
Speaking of multiverse, I don't know if you've seen the Spider-Man.
I did, bro. And they say he's gonna be the face of the multiverse.
Good. I'm glad that they're gonna use Tom Holland. First of all, he's young enough he can carry the franchise.
Yes, bro.
For 10 to 15 more years, probably longer. He could be Spider-Man his entire career if he played his cards right. If he doesn't fuck up and do what us young kids do, which is stupid things, he'll be set up for his entire life with a job.
Yeah, no, because they can, like, the way they can do this, they can lead this all the way into
X-Men and shit like that.
Well, yeah, especially
Four.
X-Men. Because Spider-Man has adventures with literally all of them.
And then Deadpool,
especially with the multiverse happening, they can just make the argument that the X-Men
Deadpool
are part of another
and
universe.
Spider-Man, it could be in the same universe now because Disney acquired Fox. And
there's so much they can do with this now.
They showed that they can do a PG-13 movie with Deadpool by doing their toned-down version of Deadpool 2. So, I mean, even
I need Deadpool's to be rated R.
Endgame was had a lot of swearing in it. I was surprised.
Yeah, it was a lot of curse words. Shit. Bitch,
yeah, shit a lot. Shit a lot.
Yeah, bro, that's how I knew they just didn't give a fuck anymore. They were like, fuck it.
They did their thing, dude. Oh, I could do that instead. But
yeah, I enjoyed the movie.
I did too.
I liked.
There was subtle nods.
I liked
the Falcon
seeing how everyone's stadium
being the new Captain America. I actually
hold the fuck on. Hold on. Let me get there. Cause I griped about that for a long fucking time. Let me get there real quick. I need to regather. Fuck that. We just go ahead and address that. I can't remember what I was gonna say. I really hate that they did that. It should have been Bucky, bro.
It should have been Bucky. I agree.
It should have 100% have been Bucky.
I was gonna say the exact
and I'm not
same
saying
thing.
this. I'm not saying this as like the casual movie. I'm saying this because if we're gonna play it the way it went in the comics, right? It should be Bucky next because Bucky got it right after Cap.
Yep.
And then when Bucky goes back into space, he goes back into S.H.I.E.L.D. and then he goes back into outer space and all this other bullshit that he does. That's when Sam gets it. But actually, there's like a point where there's 3 Captain Americas at one time. But Sam Wilson didn't get this anytime soon. So I guess the only thing that I can understand that they're trying to do is trying to line up with the comic books now. But still, like, that's fucking stupid. Because he just makes logical... This nigga he's just a nigga with some wings. That's it, bro. That's it. Look, I ain't trying to shit on Sam Wilson because Sam Wilson is my favorite... One of my favorite superheroes. I ain't gonna say he's my favorite. But he's one of my favorite because he's the most relatable. For me. Like, in specific. Like he's the most relatable because he's just a human. He's black, and he tries to keep up and he tries to do decent things, and like
he killed that gorilla thing with. I thought he had this one cool spot in the movie where he like flew at the thing and just stabbed it with his wings, the gorilla beast, and then fucking like killed it. I was like, that was dope as fuck. I was like, oh shit. They gave him some cool shit in this, and like they didn't just give him some guns.
They kind of had to, bro, because they were like, "Oh man, how do we fucking manage to torture him? Get the fuck out of here!"
It really bummed me out though that they didn't give
this nigga is just a nigga with wings, bro, and guns. Bucky has a fucking cybernetic arm, and according to Winter Soldier, according to Steve, they did some experimenting that made Bucky like Steve. Yeah, so it just makes fucking sense to give it to Bucky, not Sam. Oh my god, bro. Oh my! I don't see Anthony Mackie as fucking Captain America. Are you dead ass?
No. I'm sorry. I think they should have.
Bro, get the fuck out of here.
I think they did it because Sebastian Stan is young enough he can pick the shield up later, after Mackie's done with it. But I just think that they should have gone in order.
Because they do have Sebastian Stan for like another 8 movies.
Yeah, I'm sure that at some point they'll give him the shield. Just like whenever they had Cap pick up Mjolnir, which we all knew I knew it was coming. Even though I knew it was coming because somebody told me, I still knew it was gonna happen whenever that moment was happening. You know what I mean? I would have known either way. I was like, oh, Cap's about to pick up Mjolnir. That's the only reason. Why else have it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just think, maybe I was okay. I put it like this: they never really hinted at Sam getting it. That's kind of what made me mad about it.
It would make more sense for Bucky to get it because they were supposed to be closer. You know what I mean?
Right. That's the main thing. But the second thing is, like, how many times did he fight with Cap's shield? We've seen him fight with Cap's shield twice now, I believe.
Yeah. We've seen it.
Right? We've never seen like Sam fight with the shield.
Nope.
And so that's another thing that really I didn't get. I've seen Bucky did work on Iron Man. Them niggas dogged Iron Man.
They did beat fucking Iron Man's ass with that shield.
He beat, oh my, bro, Tony got his ass beat. Imagine, bro, first of all, let me take a brief pause. These niggas really jumped Tony for being mad at this nigga for killing his mom, bro. Cap was like, I can't, you know what? Bucky, yeah, he did kill your mom. Yeah, that was in the past though, Tony. And he was under brain control. You know, he was brainwashed. Yeah, I'ma beat your ass if you try to fight him. Even though Tony had 100% right to be mad. I've been searching for my mom's killer for forever. And
well, he didn't even know that they were killed. He just thought it was a car accident.
Oh, that's true, yeah. And so this nigga sees it on. Oh my god, they really beat the shit out of him.
They beat the dog shit out of him, bro.
They beat the fuck out of him so bad, dog. Holy shit.
Dude, I kind of want to watch that scene now, just because I
gotta rewatch that. Hold on, let's just go to YouTube and rewatch it.
That was not even fair. You need to go and like all of our podcast videos. How disrespectful are you?
That's top 5 most disrespectful things that Captain America's ever done. He's disrespectful for stealing Peggy's kid's life because them niggas don't even have a life anymore.
Oh yeah, I did want to talk about that. That was, bro. I wanted him to have a happy ending and shit, but at the same time, he killed a whole family of people. Sharon Carter be dead. He fucked up the timeline by doing that. You do realize that he's the one that caused the fracture in the timeline. That if they go this route with the multiverse with Spider-Man, I'm calling it right now, that Captain America living his life out the way he did is what causes the rift in time. Or which is what causes the multiverses or whatever.
That makes sense. I think in the trailer for for Far From Home. I think in the trailer it said the snap caused like the rift, but still, I really think like he fucked up so much by staying, and he just lived through the shit. That's what really fucked me up.
You want to know
He
what
just
else?
lived through it.
Well, you want to? I forgot to tell. I forgot to mention this when we were talking about the super feminist moment in the movie. What bothers me the most about it isn't the fact that it was super forced, because it was so fucking forced, but it's the fact that Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow, the main chick who's been carrying this franchise for 10 years, wasn't a part of that scene. Where
Damn,
all the girls had all the
very good point.
A really big part in the movie. She literally was the face of women. She was the first strong female superhero, if you want to get technical, not Captain Marvel. And they had this moment.
You make a very good point, bro.
Where all of the women are in this scene together, and it's supposed to show women power and all that, and she was killed off. I think that they should have killed off Hawkeye, not Black Widow. That's another thing. This dude has been killing and murdering people in the name of his family for the last 5 years. And now he's just gonna go back to his family like nothing has happened. It's all hunky dory. He's gonna have to live with that now.
Bro, oh my god. That decision to kill off Scarlet was so random, bro. Like, there was no reason. There was literally no reason to do it.
Would have been better
there
if
was
they
no
had
motivation.
That's how they got. This is, in my opinion, it would have been better if they had taken Cap. If they were going to kill off Scarlet, they should have gone with Cap as a team with Scarlett Johansson. That way we could have had the fucking Red Skull Captain America interaction. Like, oh shit, it's the fucking Red Skull. I used to fight this dude. And then instead of Hawkeye, who they're just like, who the fuck is this guy? You know what I mean? They had no, like, they weren't like, oh shit, it's the Red Skull. No, they were just like, who the fuck is this?
That's true. That's a good point. That's actually a really good point.
And then if it's gonna be like, it would make more sense for her to die. Like, watching Clint have to watch somebody else that he really cares about die is such a fucked up thing to do. He's already had to, like, watch his family die and shit. And then, on top of that, you're gonna make him kill his best friend, basically. They really fucked him over in that movie. They did, dude. They fucking mega fucked him over. They're like, not only are we gonna kill your whole family, and then make you do a bunch of terrible shit, because he wasn't just killing bad guys, he was killing innocent people too. That's why Natasha and them were looking for him. They're like, look at this carnage that he's causing. Whenever you ever heard the phrase, look at this carnage he's causing, and not innocent people are dying?
That's a good point. Yeah, he was on some different shit. Him living was dumb. Him dying would have been dumb. He should have just disappeared with the snap. That's it.
I'm glad that they brought in Ronan, because that's the character that he's supposed to play during the snap or whatever.
Yeah, they never even like vocalized that.
Yeah, I know. It was just a silent nod to like super fans of Hawkeye. That's how I feel. And Hawkeye's dope, and that is like how I figure, you know, an assassin for S.H.I.E.L.D. would be. But my problem is that they just like gloss over this. They don't mention it at all, like how he's a murderer and shit.
No, it's just like you served your right.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm watching this fight real quick.
I'm gonna watch it with you real quick. I have no sound. Come on. in the scene where they're fighting in that one area and it has that really badass shot.
Bro, they beat the shit out of him, dog. Low key, like, Bucky was on his ass until he blew his arm off. Then he became the White Wolf when he went and joined Wakanda. Hey, that scene though, where they did like the shield versus the blast, that was pretty cool. Even though like it was also corny at the same time how they did it.
You know, do you think that Winter Soldier was clapping Wakanda cheeks or what?
Bro. If he wasn't, I'd be disappointed.
He should. You know them girls want a little piece of that white meat. They ain't never seen it before. Super exotic.
Like, Wakanda... Get the fuck out of here. Wakandian women, right? They're like peak women. So they're super healthy and their body's fire. So they probably see the White Wolf and they're like, I want to hear him roar. And then he rolls up and he's like, you know, I like panthers myself. I'm kind of high. I just realized that. Damn, I'm high as shit. Back to this episode though. Tony really got his ass beat by.
Yeah, he just beat the shit out of him. I just watched them.
They beat the fuck out of him.
That you want to know why they did that moment right there? Because it's part of that is a cover of the Civil War, the first Civil War comic.
I know, but it was also very corny how they did it though.
No, it's dope. Fuck off. I disagree.
It's still really great because like I got to see it in real life, but not the same. Ooh, whenever he figured out how this nigga fights, this is the best part of it.
That was also in the comic books as well.
Yeah,
he talks about how he recorded.
I have the Civil War comic book.
He talks about how he has. I have the comic. I'm looking at it right now. He talks about how fucking he's recorded every punch he's ever thrown. I wish they would have told him how he was, he would have said what they did in the comic books, where he was like, "You think I'm gonna go down to some pampered punk like you?" Yep, I think we're at the same spot now, where he just powered dim down.
Yeah.
The Endgame, him giving the shield back to Tony. It should have been a bigger moment than it was, I think.
Bro, thank you. That was such a small moment. Golly.
Him just having it in the back of his car and it's covered by all this shit. Like it's not a big thing. Like it's not a huge symbol. After we talk, hold on. I gotta talk about this because I'm gonna forget otherwise. Him talking about it being America's ass was so goddamn funny and hilarious. And I don't think it's talked about enough. That's America's ass right there.
Whenever... Oh, bro, it's blowing up. It's blowing up on the on like the world. Like it's insane.
Dude, that is so good, man. We got to start sharing more. I need you to take over the social media aspect of this podcast.
What?
You post better memes than I do. Most of the memes I get are actually from you.
Alright, well, I'll just send them to you then.
Oh my god. You're a fucking admin, you asshole. You could just post it on it.
Anyways, back to Endgame. Yeah, Cap just like fucked up everything though.
Cap was on for his last movie. It was a big one. That's probably why he did so much work. And Tony fucking getting one over on Thanos whenever he pulls the stones off of him like a smooth criminal, which I knew he did that because I was like, Tony would never build something that did not have a failsafe that only he could activate.
Yep. Yep.
And so I'm glad that they did that little nod. And sure enough, as soon as he got a hold of it, I was like, oh, he just got all the stones off of him.
That Iron Man
he
part
just Robin Hood his shit. You know what I'm talking about? Remember that scene in Robin Hood whenever Little John kisses his fucking rings and sucks all the jewels off that motherfucker? That's what he did. He grabbed his hand, he kissed his fucking ring, and he took all those goddamn Infinity Stones. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Disney Robin Hood when they're foxes and shit.
Oh, okay.
Let me hold it. Let me.
I was trying to think of a move like the live action. I was like, what is this nigga talking about? Set up Galactus for Phase 4. Ooh.
Ooh, I hope that brings in
Fantastic Four.
Yes. And others. I really hope they integrate the fucking rest of the Marvel Universe into fucking Marvel, the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Bro, it's possible. Like, there's a lot that they can do, especially with them acquiring Fox. So, that opens up the door to a bunch of shit.
Yeah, and if they fucking do what I hope they do, and bring in the Fantastic Four, I hope they do the Fantastic Four right this time.
It's Marvel, bro. They do everything right.
Instead of the way that Fox has been doing the Fantastic Four, which is not good.
Bro, I want them to do X-Men Justice.
X-Men Justice? Well, they did with the first movie. It wasn't terrible.
No.
You know what movie I think is super underlooked because of the poor movies that came after it?
Which one?
Blade. Dude, Blade was such an awesome movie, man. Like the beginning,
honestly,
the
bro,
opening scene.
I liked Blade 3.
Opening scene in Blade, where he fucking like that chick tries to seduce him into that shower and blood scene, and he kills all those vampires. Yeah. Such a great scene, man. And I don't know, I just enjoyed it. Tell me this isn't Tony Stark right here. Whenever Thanos, when he tried to take Thanos' jewels. Or should I say when he took Thanos' jewels. It's at the 1 minute mark or so. I wish I could get a gift of it so I could post it as a...
Oh shit. This nigga was finessing the whole time. My dear ladies, you have my permission to kiss the royal hands, which I think is oh, how gracious and generous. Sire, did you see what they stop kissing in my ear?
That movie's super underrated as far as it goes for Disney movies.
Quick little finesse.
Just like that. That was Tony Stark. Everybody coming through the portals was kind of cool as well. I was like, when is everybody going to show up? Because everybody is going to show up. Because you didn't just snap and get the Hulk super hurt for no reason.
I think what was really cool was when Tony gave Peter a hug, like a real hug. I was like, damn,
That was a good moment. Yeah.
That grief really ate him up. he looked so
Well,
relieved.
it was the main reason that he did it was because of him.
Yeah, bro.
The first thing he says to Captain America when he sees him is, "I lost the kid."
I lost the kid.
Which was like, oh, my feels. Stop it!
This shit was sad. Oh man, yeah. No, it was a good movie. The portal scene was cool. Seeing all of them. Spider-Man again, like Spider-Man has come in clutch so much in like the past 2 Avengers movies. Like
well,
he
if
literally.
they're about to make him the new face of the MCU, then they need to make sure that they let him shine when he's supposed to. And I was reading Avengers versus X-Men on the way there, and he talks about how everybody, no matter, it's a big roster, you know, he's talking about the Avengers, and everybody does their part, and everybody has the one moment where they need to step up. And he's like, and then he steps up and fucking like fights Colossus and Magic all by himself to hold him off so Tony and all of them can get away. Because he's such a good guy.
Is this the one where he was with Hope Summers in Utopia?
Yes. No, well, they were in I can't pronounce it, the city where Iron Fist is trained and shit.
Kunlun.
Yeah, whatever. That area.
Interesting.
Good book if you pick it up. Paperback's pretty cheap. You're going to be spending quite a bit of money if you try to buy a hard copy, though. I think a hard copy's like a hardcover, just like $75.
Where'd you get it at?
I ordered mine online.
Man, I'll just order it from Amazon then.
You can go to Barnes and Noble though. They might have it. I think this one only cost like $25. The paperback did, but it's the entire series. You know what I mean? So interesting read. That's another storyline they could do. Although I don't see them doing it because Fox is doing this new Dark Phoenix movie, and I'm not feeling it.
So dumb. That looks awful. Because again, how many times are we gonna do Dark Phoenix and like not properly?
Well, they didn't properly do any of it that they've done so far. No, didn't properly do Apocalypse. I didn't like it. How they did Apocalypse.
Oh yeah, they haven't. That's why I said I want X-Men to be properly done because it's not gonna happen on Fox. No. I don't even know what possessed Fox to think that they can do movies like this. Fucking losers. They're not Marvel. Get the fuck out of here. No, but I really want them to do a good. They even see the. I'll give Fox credit on this. Just to like backtrack a little bit. I'll give Fox credit on this. They did do a good job of basically rebooting their own X-Men universe, but they didn't do shit with it. Like they just continued to disappoint after that.
Yep.
Like what they did was so cool. That concept, I was like, damn, that's really fucking genius. And then they just completely wasted it. Like they squandered the opportunity. It's literally the same. Like this Dark Phoenix movie is basically the same Phoenix movie they did in what was that 2008. Basically the same thing, except there's not a Wolverine. That's the only difference. Speaking of which, Logan is a top 5 Marvel movie of all time. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh yeah, I love Logan.
Yeah, Logan. He honestly, and this. I know we're talking about Endgame, but honestly, I kind of feel like that should have got nominated for an Oscar. Logan was so good. It was like well put together too. Yeah, I think that should have got nominated for Oscar. And did you see that they were talking about Robert Downey Jr. getting an Oscar for this movie? I was like, nigga, are you high? Like this, he did not act that well to get a fucking Oscar.
Well, he
get
did
the
good.
Fuck out of here.
If they want to give him an Oscar, I'm not gonna be like, meh. I'm not gonna be like, nah.
He did good. He did his usual good. He didn't, but it wasn't like a groundbreaking performance where I was like, oh my god, get him an Oscar right now. He deserves it immediately. No, It was just a culmination of his character arc. That's all it was.
Have you been watching Game of Thrones?
I didn't watch. I watched the actual fight, but I didn't watch anything else this season. But I've had it spoiled to me all season, so you can talk about it.
I've been keeping up with it. I'm not gonna be able to anymore, but because I don't have it. Because I was actually like watching it legitimately, like off HBO and shit. But my trial's up, and so
now get another trial.
I don't know how to do that.
Just create another account.
Yeah, well, I'm too lazy to do that. Besides, I've seen what I'm gonna see. But yeah, fucking Game of Thrones, the epic battle scene that was supposed to be between the Night King and everybody, couldn't see half of it because it was super dark.
Yeah, you couldn't see shit.
Couldn't see a motherfucking thing. The episode after had the same issue. They're trying to do this like natural lighting thing. No, man, we don't need natural lighting. You wanna know why natural lighting sucks? Or why you can't film good shit in natural lighting? Because natural lighting sucks for filming, dipshits. They didn't film back then. They didn't need all that extra light. And it's terrible. It's like they didn't hire a fucking lighting crew for this season or some shit. They're like, nah, we don't have the budget. We're doing all this epic shit with dragons. And then they killed another dragon. What the fuck?
Bro, okay, so I saw that too, and I was really confused on how the fuck they let another dragon get killed.
And of course it's the dragon that Jon is riding and shit, so, you know. Granted, him not riding that dragon to the fucking, to King's Landing was probably so that he didn't die, but they could kill off another dragon. Because they killed that dragon fast, bro. It was like 3 shots with those arrows and he was done.
I heard, I heard like he was like straight in the throat and he was blood gurgling like.
Oh yeah, it was pretty brutal for killing of a fictional animal. I'd be like, PETA would be in fucking tears if that was a real dragon. Dragons were real. You know what I mean?
PETA would probably be killing enough dragons themselves, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. They've already put down at least
Thor
22.
got fucked in this movie, bro.
No, man, Thor was my favorite part of the whole movie, honestly. He got super fat. That made me laugh so hard when that happened.
Oh shit! Oh my gosh, that hype was so crazy. Oh my gosh, that was insane. When he hits Thanos with the hammer for the first time, that was insane. Did your movie theater cheer whenever they saw Cap hit Thanos?
No, but speaking of, there's this one part that whenever there's this one part whenever Tony's dying that this little kid just started clapping. And I started laughing so hard, dude. So this super serious scene, right? And I'm laughing now because this little kid just started clapping. It's so funny, dude. Oh my god, the kid's a legend. I don't know who that kid is. Man, that kid is a fucking legend. He deserves all the hype. Beats all the kids.
I am inevitable.
Yeah, I know, he's such a fucking nerd.
I can't believe he fucking said that.
Yeah,
I really wanted to see if Hulk was gonna redeem himself against Thanos.
And he did it.
That's the other gay shit. Like, that was so whack that they didn't let Hulk really didn't have any shine in this movie at all.
Well, I mean, he was smart now, so... Thing is when you watch the Hulk, you want to see the Hulk do Hulk shit. You don't want to see Hulk be smart.
Not at all. E-bomba!
I know.
Oh, the real reason why Bucky wasn't given Captain America's shield.
It's gonna be the new Black Panther.
What'd you say?
He said he's gonna be the new Black Panther.
No. It's probably because, well, it doesn't make sense. I was gonna say because of all the shit that's happened in the past few movies, where they basically made this nigga like the worst criminal of all time. We can't give him the shield.
They can't give Captain Russia or Captain Hydra the fucking...
Exactly.
Although, speaking of Hydra, the Hail Hydra line between Cap and...
that was fucking clean, bro.
Yeah, that was super awesome.
He was
Although he could have totally taken all of those dudes instead. Could have just beat the shit out of
Yeah, I
all
thought we were
of
gonna
them.
get that scene again, because that was a scene straight from
Winter Soldier, yeah. That's a great
I thought we were gonna
scene,
get that
by the way.
again. Then he said, "Don't worry, guys. Elijah."
Yeah, just trust me.
That shit killed me.
And then the Cap versus Cap scene was awesome as well. Although they kind of just wrestled around, which was weird. For two
really
super like martial artists, they didn't even use like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or anything on the ground. They just kind of rolled around.
They didn't even use real wrestling. It was just awkward grappling.
I got you in a chokehold. This is not even a good chokehold because you got access to my fingers. Yeah, I'll break your fucking fingers. You put me in a chokehold. What the fuck? I'm about to... Have you ever seen a Red Punisher Max?
No, I've heard of it, but
Bro, you need to read it. It's so good. It's like a what if Punisher like aged in real time, so it's like set from after, and he's like a 60-year-old man in this, and super brutal, super brutal.
Kind of like how Logan was brutal.
Yeah.
Like the actual comic book for Logan.
Yeah. Well, worse actually. There are parts of it. There's this part where he's like is trying to get information from this dude, and he has him out in the woods, and he does something to where he like numbs him, but he cuts his guts open. He's got his intestines spread out all over this barbed wire, and he just leaves him there. So fucking, he says that animals will finish him off.
Damn.
Yeah, it's brutal. To be fair, this guy is like he's got like this sex trafficking thing going on. So I don't feel that. I don't feel bad for him. You know what I mean? And so yeah, you should definitely check it out. They go dive into some deep shit in that too. But I think that's it, man. I think that we talked pretty much all about.
All in all, I'll give Endgame 7.5 out of 10.
Wow. I would give it a much better score. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10.
It's not bad.
We're gonna go ahead and end the podcast here, guys. I think we'll definitely be doing another one soon.
We will.
Cause we still need to talk more. I don't know if you know this, but there's some other stuff going on, or there's some other stuff coming up, and we'll definitely be talking about those things as well. And not only that, but anything Marvel comes out, we're probably gonna go and see as well. So
hell yeah.
Although I still need to see
hell yeah, brother.
Captain Marvel because I haven't.
I haven't seen that shit either. Don't really care to see it, but
maybe it'll make me like Captain Marvel a little bit more as a character.
Maybe,
Because
maybe.
in Endgame, I didn't like her that much. Whatever. She was just a whatever.
She wasn't
character.
even important in that game.
Well, that's the thing is they tried to make her the most important character, and they did nothing to establish that. They just kind of give her this kind of like, oh, I'm here to save the day, like they did with Thor in Infinity War, except it wasn't as cool.
Yeah, because Thor went God mode when he did that.
Came in. He came in like a badass.
Came in, struck lightning, came down, destroyed like half the battlefield, fucking destroyed all these monsters, comes in, throws the axe, hits Thanos in the chest, almost kills him. And then he does actually kill him in the next movie. Thor did his thing. Thor did his thing.
Yeah, Thor did his thing. And we'll leave it at that.